Hi, Prince. Welcome back.
That sounds great. I haven't heard that in a while.
Well, welcome back. If you say that you were not pleased with how the first album went, Rave and you enjoyed Fantastic, will you be at the helm of the marketing of the second edition of it? And what do you plan on doing differently that was not done the first time around?
Well, Clive and I had an agreement where I was just going to release on internet only, and he was going to handle the stores. So really all I can do in that regard is just release the record and allow it to be downloaded or however we get it to the consumer. That's why I want to bring them to Minnesota and just talk to people, just let them tell me how they want it from now on. The interesting thing in Vanity Fair, and I used it before I even saw it, but I always get journalists saying to me, "You're not selling as many records as you used to." And I say, "Well, I never sold the records. I only made them, right?" So you got to talk to the accounting firm on that.
Are you saying that at the end of June, when Clive's contract is up with Arista, that your contract is through with Arista, or? I'm just a little confused about what your relationship will be with Arista when Clive.
I didn't have a contract with Arista. I had an agreement with Clive, and it was very simple. It's like 2 pages. The contract this thick, there's no reason for it, period. I think it's unlawful, and the moment artists get together and challenge it, it's going to go right out the window. Their system is like this. It's just ready to get knocked over. It's not even, there's nothing stable about it, right? I need, like Larry here, to balance me. I'm about to get volatile.
Leading up to this Prince celebration, this hot college field in Paisley Park, the fans for like a week. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what they can expect from that, or what they'll get on the tour, or whatever.
Well, people who have supported my music through the years never really got a chance to go inside Paisley Park if they hadn't seen some sort of film of it or whatever. And a lot of changes have happened there recently. It's a more public-friendly place. All the studios are open back up. They'll be ready for business in August. And there's just a lot to do there, and I'd like for them to see what they helped to create. It's the interaction that went on with us throughout the years that actually painted the joint.
Hi, Prince. When you say that My Tape's doing her thing and you're doing your thing, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean the two of you are no longer together?
Why that was difficult to discuss. It's always been difficult to discuss because I always want to be on record for speaking the truth about it, and together, we're all together here. Married, we're all kind of married here. Intimate, the words are interesting, and that's the clearest that I could put it. Was she does her thing, I do my thing. Sometimes we do our thing together.
5 years from now, do you think music will be a free commodity for consumers? And is that something that you would hope for?
Well, money's going to have to be abolished first. It's a long conversation, and sometimes we play a game at Paisley called In a Perfect World. You ask somebody, in a perfect world, what would you do today for the next 3 hours? And, the assistant might say, well, I wouldn't be cooking. Say, all right, well, if you weren't cooking, you got to feed your family. How do you do that? And then we start to talk about, in a perfect world, how you do that. So one of the things we're going to do is build a food facility right next to Paisley Park in the shape of an egg. So the people in our community get food from this place for free. This means you don't, and it's meals designed for them and their family. This means you don't have to go to the grocery store. You don't have to think about, now your food bills are taken care of. And of course, this is for people, when I say in our community, the ones who work at Paisley Park and actually help us with the gardens and what have you. If you take money out of the equation, it's interesting what happens. Chaka Khan was in our studio and was tripping because she didn't have a budget. I said, the studio's free, it's just electricity. I wouldn't know how to charge you anyway. You know, when your album's finished, your album's finished. You know, you tell me. So whether music ends up to be free or not, I mean, I think the question is about how that's, how we do what is most done.
Hi, Prince. You went on The View, and you talked to Oprah a couple of years ago. Are you trying to change the way that the masses perceive you? Now you're going back to Prince. Are you trying to come across as being a little less weird?
These are my favorite questions. Who will get you on film first? No, I've never thought of myself as weird. The people who really know me don't think so either. So, how you perceive me is how you perceive me.
I wanted to know, knowing that the name Prince is going to be on your next album and that it's going to be a Prince album, does that change at all how you approach an album or how you would write your songs or gather them together?
You know, everybody has their own perception, again, about me and my music and things like that. I think, though, if you really put everything back to back in a linear fashion, you'll see, you know, The Greatest Romance is pretty much saying the same thing as P Control. It's saying the same thing as Sexy MF. You know, what people get out of it is what they get out of it. You know? The same thing, I mean, like he was just saying, what I got out of the music business was that if you don't own your masters own you. Some people find fame and fortune and they're cool with that, you know. So it's like that system is going to be, what you're talking about, whether music's going to be free or not, I just would like to see an alternate system. Then I'd be cool. But there's no way right now for people to get seen or heard unless somebody that has nothing to do with the creation of the music gets paid. Like literally gets paid. That's just absurd to me.
How would you suggest to a new artist that they reach the masses without taking a major label deal? Do they go through distribution companies, or if they wanted to try to remain independent, how would you suggest that they reach masses without the machine-like power of a label?
Well, when I sit down and talk with Jimmy, one day recently Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Babyface, L.A. Reid, we just sat in a room and just started discussing things like this. You know, I challenge all of them. I do, and I will continue to, you know, when you get some money together, like all of us have amassed, let's just sit down and create a new system so that, you know, we don't have to run back to distribution companies, this, that, and the other, and really talk to these program directors and DJs about opening up in every marketplace at least 4 slots that artists can get heard and get their music out to the people. And that could revolve. You know, all the music actually should just be, it should be constantly evolving. It's not like that. Everything's like these playlists and what have you. So, like I said, it just needs to be an alternate system. Because right now there is none.
Question over here for you. Over this side. Hi. Do you plan to continue to use the symbol to represent Prince now, or does the symbol go away?
Well, it's an internationally known logo now, so I really haven't given it much thought. What I did give thought to was changing my name, not changing it, but using my birth name, because there's still a lot to do. So I thought it would be interesting, though, to, if I ever do anything with a major label, let them use the symbol. Like, and, you know, because something interesting happened. Everybody was saying, oh, he thinks he can, you know, he thinks he can get out of his contract by changing his name. Well, literally, that's what I did. Because when you know, you go to the meetings, you say, well, I have a new album. I say, well, it's going to be under symbol, right? No, it's going to be under Prince. And I said, well, we don't want a Prince album. I said, well, that's who you signed. I said, well, everybody knows you as the symbol now. I said, well, you'll have to make a big deal with it. so I mean, like, me and Mo Austin, and he knows it, that arguing, big, loud, screaming matches. So, well, that's who you signed. Well, you're trying to trick us. No, I ain't trying to trick you. Let's make a new deal then. All right, what's the terms of the new deal? Well, I want the masters back. Said, well, you can't get your masters back if you gave us $1 billion. Now, to make a statement like that to me means that I don't really have any power over it. Now, somebody I thought I was hiring to be my distribution company, I thought I was hiring. Because, I mean, it was between 3 companies, Sony, A&M, and Warner Brothers. And after much whining and dining, I mean, it was crazy back then, you know. A&M was like, okay, we'll give you a house. I don't want to live any place. I want to go on the road. This is what I lived for my whole life. You know, I'm ready to work now. Okay, well, how about this? It was crazy, you know, so it's interesting, like the fight between Disney and ABC, or Disney and Time Warner recently. You got grown people calling each other deranged individuals and arrogant manipulators, right? It's no diss to the photographers. I've had trouble with y'all sometimes, but it's like, okay, we're going to take turns and take pictures here. Now, everybody's got power. I was just in the back going, this is interesting, you know? We grown people now, right? Let's act like it, like all of us, you know? I ain't going to Washington to discuss no craziness, like, you know?
Hypothetically, who would win in a fist fight, you or Michael Jackson? Both roughly, you know, the same size. You know, you have both have the high pitched sound. You know, what do your right hooks like?
Oh my goodness, he's a plant, y'all. But I plant him. Yeah, keep it light, keep it light.
How about this?
Michael's not a fighter, he's a lover. Oh, can I just say something? I've never really spoke publicly about Michael. We should all just kind of like chill, because it's, you know, he may know something none of us really know. And just like, well, let's wait and see. Let's wait it out. You know, let's just wait it out. You never know, right? You just never know. Ultimately, we all got to come back home. So let's just make a home for everybody. No, but I should right hook him when he gets here, right? Well, all right.
Yeah. Thank you for being here today. Assuming, hopefully all of us are assuming that you will go out on the road, if not later this year, then soon. Do you see yourself doing another kind of extended 150, 200-day tour anytime soon?
I'm really concentrating on my spiritual studies now. I just want to do that for a while. This has been interesting journey. Recently, we were working on the time tunnel for Paisley Park, where kids get to walk up and down and see over time like I said, the linear fashion in which my career has gone. There was when we made the tunnel at first, the last picture was a picture of Maite and I embraced, and I always thought that was the final picture. I didn't want that's the way I said, well, now it's over. You know, and then I looked, and she ended up doing her thing, like I said, and I ended up doing mine. And then there's a door there in the time tunnel, and it leads to the next room. But there's more wall, and I had never noticed it before because I'd always thought that was the final picture. So there's more space for more events, and I just really want to, ask God in solitude what it is that He'd like. It was interesting the other day. A friend of mine said, so what should I call you now? And I said, you can call me Prince. And it just felt good to say that again, because I hadn't in so long. So I'm really curious to see what happens next.
You've been making music now for over 2 decades, and obviously been in the business for close to that amount of time. For the past few years, you've been focused on legally freeing yourself and trying to have an impact on contracts and all these things. Now that Prince is back musically, do you have a conversation about where kind of R&B is now and it's gone with hip-hop and R&B and all the different forms that we find it in now?
Well, like I said, I think the quality's gone down pretty much. I was Midnight Love was playing last night on BET, but I wasn't watching it. You know, I was getting ready to go out, and I couldn't tell one singer from the next. I couldn't. All the beats were the same. All the subject matter was the same. I mean, I didn't grow up like that. I didn't know music like that. Marvin Gaye sounded completely different than the love songs of Curtis Mayfield, which were completely different than the love songs of Stevie Wonder. I mean, that's how I grew up. That's what I'm about. I think here's in truth what I think is going to happen. When Chaka Khan came to our studio, and I told her that you can record in here as long as you want. If you want strings, we'll go get strings. If you want orchestra and horns, we'll go get that. Whatever you want, we're going to fully realize your vision. When you say that you're done, then we're done. I think it's got to somehow get to that where studios don't charge you. And it's interesting how hip-hop came out of freedom, where kids get to record on their own in their own cribs and stuff. You start to hear a different type of sound, and the sound sounds free. And I had a discussion with a exec when I was writing on my face, and he says, "So, what do I call you now? This hip hop, is it going to last?" It's like, I was completely shocked. Are black people going to last? You know, that's a crazy question. You know, and he didn't know. So what he did is he put some people in place to go buy it all up, right? So once again, they've seen that movie Black and White. I haven't seen it yet. I'm curious to see it though.
I think your audience will be wondering what we can look forward to coming out of Paisley Park, both from you and from the collaborative work that you've done, that you're looking forward to.
Well, every day is changing for me. I've recorded a lot of stuff recently, and you know, you can be in one frame of mind playing rock and roll guitar, and then Najee will walk in, and you know how he plays. I'll sit down and start jamming with him, and this whole other sound comes out, and then I'll be over there. What we're seriously considering is, because I play so many different styles, is maybe putting out numerous records during the year that, you know, rather than trying to put so many different styles on one album, you know, have a jazz record, have a ballad record. Recently we had this album called When Two Are in Love, The Ballads of Prince, and it had all the jams on it. I mean, it was, you know, I was impressed, right? And you go to Warner's to license your own music from them and can't get a call back, right? And it's like, stuff like that. I mean, I could do so many wonderful marketing things with my own music if I had complete control over it. So that's what I've been fighting for all these years, and will continue until the battle's won.
No photos.
That's it, guys. Thank you very much for being here today, everybody. Thank you for your patience and your good behavior. Thank you very much.